In this episode, we're counting down our top 5 sad songs, those heart-wrenching ballads and gut-punch lyrics that stop you in your tracks, make you reflect, and maybe even shed a tear or two. Stay with us.
Get ready for the 3324 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Welcome, friends, to the 3324 podcast. Is this going to be melancholy, Eric? Is this going to be... Can we put a happy face on this episode somehow?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try real hard. I got a box of Kleenex right next to me right here.
All right.
I Dean and I were talking before, we started here, and this was a hard one because we're just losing too many great people. So that's a factor. We've lost some brilliant artists, and it's just so sad. And we're still reeling from the loss of people like Brian Wilson, and it's just today we lost Chuck Mangione today. It's Ozzy.
You know what? Let's just forget this episode. Let's just not.
I just wanted to get that out there because some of my choices definitely are related to that in the sense of we've lost some brilliant people, and then there's some personal things. There's some it's easy to cobble together because there's just so many sad songs. Mm-hmm. I think the best songs are sad songs probably, but just narrowing it down was just really tough. So,
Well, that's always our thing. Hey, we've got a guest with us. Make her regular episode debut. If you heard a few weeks ago, I did a one-on-one interview with Reeya Banerjee, and she liked what she heard, and she said, "I'll come back for another episode." I'm like, "Absolutely, come on back." So, welcome, Reeya. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. I love sad songs. That was the appeal.
Okay.
Who doesn't love a sad song? Who doesn't love sitting down and getting in their feelings and just being like,
absolutely.
I'm just gonna live in this now for a while, and then somehow you feel better afterwards. You listen to a sad song for like 10 minutes, and then you're like, I'm still sad, but I'm okay. I don't know. That's how I feel about sad songs.
Well, I have a few questions about sad songs, but before we get to that. Reeya's final single is out from her upcoming album, This Place. The final single is called Rust, and that's out now, so you can go check it out. We'll put a link for her Spotify and YouTube and all that great stuff as well. And then the album, This Place, is out. Or if you're listening to this a while from now, it's all the stuff is already out. It's already happened. It's here. It's there. You can go check it out. So either it's coming and you're waiting, or it's already here and it's there for you. So either way, Reeya, congratulations on the upcoming release, or if you're listening to this months already, hey, congratulations, the album's already out.
Thank you both ways. Yeah.
So I was top 5 sad songs. I was kind of keeping this at arm's length because it can be a little bit of a downer. But like Reeya said, sometimes it can make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To get that out. So that, and I wrote down 2 questions. So each one of you take a crack at it. We'll have Reeya go first. So when you're making the list or when you're listening to sad songs, is it the lyrics? Is it the performance, or is there something else there?
It's interesting. That's a good question. Sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes it's the performance, and sometimes it's something random. And one of my picks is one that it'll seem sad because I don't know. I don't want. I'm spoilering myself here, but the reason why I find it sad is maybe not the reason why somebody else would find it sad. Let me put it that way.
But that's okay. That is. Yeah. I think definitely saw choices on my list. I think Dean, I did think about that, as a matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
And there are choices that are very specific to a performance, the music, and then there's one, there's a couple that are like that with lyrics and one that's not even necessarily a sad song, but I cannot get through the song without fucking weeping uncontrollably, and for very personal reasons. And I'll
is that song Happy Birthday? I mean, you hear at this point you shouldn't be crying about it. I mean, you hear it every year. Yes, we're getting a year older.
Well, maybe now, but yeah, in our
get older, cries like don't sing it. The second question I wrote down is, do you seek out to listen to sad songs, or is it, like, do you sit down and say, well, I want to listen to some sad songs, or are these songs that just kind of happen to pop up in your playlists or when you're listening? Like how do you come to end up listening to some of these songs, or are they an album that they happen to be in there?
Sometimes it's just that they pop up in a playlist. Like I love Spotify, and they have that new like AI DJ thing where like they've clocked the algorithm. They know exactly what I like. And sometimes I'll be driving and they'll drop something in that I maybe haven't heard in a few years. And I'm just like, oh, and I'm driving and I'm like crying in the car. So sometimes they just sort of surprise me like that. Sometimes I'm just feeling like I'm in a sad mood. And I'm like, you know what song would be great right now while I'm feeling sad is this particular song, which will make me sadder. And then it's like, and then I'll just be in that for a while. And then somehow I might listen to it 4 times in a row or something. And then somehow I'm like, kind of feel better. Still sad, but there's something. It's the catharsis, I think, is the way that helps. So
yeah, maybe to have a companion to wallow in your sorrows with via music, and
exactly.
Kind of have that companion, as it were. Music is definitely a companion, and and in this episode, we're talking about music that is having an emotional effect.
Right.
Yeah.
We did, I think a year or two ago, we did top 5 feel good songs.
Yeah.
Right. And those were ones that kind of made us like, hey, it's sunny. Usually I think they probably had to do with sunshine or all that kind of stuff. But this one, is, music can, one of the great things about music, and I think you said Eric, it's kind of subjective. It's so, you may have a certain feeling because of a connection or because of a life event that other people don't have, but that song connects right to it, or literally feels like it's speaking to you. So,
and sometimes you're not looking for it directly. Depends on what the situation is. If you're in a certain type of mood, and you're just looking for, even if you're from your favorite artists. Dean and I try to stay away from our favorites. We call ourselves homers for repeating our favorite artists, but sometimes you just want to go there and you just want that companion. But then you realize that, some of these guys know how to do a sad song, and that's all you need. So you're not necessarily looking for something else, but that there's something comfortable there.
Yeah.
That you could put on as a, sort of a blanket or emotional blanket. And you just get that good cry out. And like you said, it definitely makes you feel better. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Just don't. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a YouTube music playlist out of our picks. And then what you could do is you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even within your favorite podcast platform provider. There's actually a little message us area where you can actually text us your picks, and we will add that to the dynamic, crowdsourced playlist. So you can add your things. I would say, just if you're going to listen to it, don't do it at work. If you go on break and you're like in the break room, like bawling and crying, people think someone passed away.
They're all swollen. Yeah. What happened? What?
Yeah. What the hell? Unless you're trying to get out of work early, and then by all means indulge, put it on.
Yeah.
So we want to hear what your picks are, and we're going to start off the picks with our top 5. And then, as usual, we have some honorable mentions. So there's going to be a good chunk of material already there. And just to not tip my hand, but there are a couple of songs that I'm assuming Eric is putting on his list. And we always try to we're always looking
for the overlap, right?
Yeah, we kind of keep ourselves in mind because there are things I'm pretty sure he's going to go with, but he has stunned me in the past where I thought. So those are in my the things I think he picked are in my honorable mentions, just to kind of clear the runway for him and give him a wide berth. And Reeya may have some of those in there as well. So we're not sure.
Yeah, we're not
What we're
sure.
going to find out is to start the list right now. So here we go. We're going to start off our top 5 sad songs, and Eric is going to kick off number 5. And Reeya, are these in any particular order? Did you sort from
I
least
did.
to? You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm realizing that I inadvertently did. So yeah, we're good.
We'll take it.
My list, and
yeah. Eric, a freestyle. He doesn't want to be bound by convention, so he just puts them out there.
No, I did. I originally thought that was because I think you originally posted that when we, for the idea that you were talking about the 70s, and there's certainly enough songs in the 70s, but I was like, is this free? Or you were like, no, just go for it. It's open to any decade, so that was a good thing. So
yeah.
All right. So that being said,
kick us off with number 5.
Okay, so I'm going to go with we lost him and it's almost next year will be 10 years, and that's David Bowie. And his last album, Black Star, just blew me away in the sense that he knew he was dying. He knew but he approached it with such grace, such integrity. He actually went out to a club. He started making the album with the musicians that he had made the previous album with on there, started recording with them. Went to a club just on a whim, just with a friend. He's like, let's get out. Let's go. Saw this acid jazz band playing in New York. Bass player of which was in the Tedeschi Trucks band at the time. And he loved them. He said, these are forget those guys. I want these guys to play on the album. In typical Bowie fashion, he just brought these guys on and gave the album such a not a finality, but it's just the way he just works. And the song I chose was Dollar Days, which is the penultimate track on the record. It just, it's just a very reflective song of him looking back, maybe some imagery from England, maybe because he was living in New York for so long, and, I don't know, a slight regret in his voice there. The performance is beautiful. I just think the mood of the song really works. It's not a song that can flat out make you weep, but you do feel the sadness and the inevitability of it happening. And it's nice to know that he had the courage to face that and do it with such. He didn't exactly go out, oh, I'm dying, I'm, whatever. There are songs on here that do say that, but on the other hand, he, like I said, he just did it with such just finesse as he does, and it's just such a great last record, a great effort. So yeah.
I mean, that was a total shock when nobody was, like you said, he didn't tip his hand that he was ill.
Yeah.
And he just
no idea.
Yeah.
It was like somebody texted me and was like, did you hear? And I was like, what? Didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was just wild. And like you said, he had all the videos made beforehand and just kind of understood that it was a part of life, right?
I'm not that organized. I mean, like, not to be flippant, but I'm just like, that's, like the fact that he put that much thought into it. It's like, that's somebody who's facing something so scary and so final, and he's like, I'm gonna do this right, and that's what that looked like to me.
Absolutely. Like I said, like Eric, you said it perfectly. I mean, there's really not anything else to say about how he handled it, and it's just amazing. So Dollar Days is
Dollar Days. Yep,
right.
From Black Star.
All right, Reeya, are you ready for your number 5? Give us your number
5. Number 5, I'm gonna go deep into the elder millennial zone. 3 a.m. by Matchbox 20, which was off of their very first album, which was like an album that I had on CD, and I wore the CD out and it skipped, and I still kept listening to it. 3 a.m. is about Rob Thomas being a teenager, and his mother had cancer, and he was watching her, have cancer, and just the confusion of being a child watching their mother grieve through that. I also was my mother passed away when I was 12 of cancer, So this is one of those songs that when it came out on the radio originally, I did not know what the song was about because I wasn't, when I was in however old I was, in fifth grade or whether, I wasn't necessarily going for a deep dive through the liner notes of a CD that I bought at Borders Books or whatever. But, you know, but it's one of those things that I found out about later. There's a really great YouTube performance, or it's on YouTube, a live performance that he gave. It's just him playing the song with the piano, and he explains the backstory. And then ever since I saw that, and I go back and listen to the song again, then I can hear it and I can really feel it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much heavier than I remember it being. And so, yeah, it's a lot of, you know, a lot of my picks you're going to realize are about grief in this particular zone, but like different kind of contours of it. But yeah, I also think the album that it came off of is spectacular. It's for a first album. I think that was fantastic. I think they're a tremendously underrated band. Yeah, that's my number 5. Going straight to the tragic childhood well right there, but you know.
And it's a deceptively up-tempo song as
Absolutely.
well.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
It was like one of their first large hits as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's why I didn't know. And then you see him doing on YouTube. Anybody who's watching this right now, Google Rob Thomas 3 a.m. acoustic piano and watch that, and it will gut you, because then you'll actually hear what the song is about, and it just feels so different. And then when you go back and you listen to the album version again, you'll be like, oh God, that's what's happened to me now. So
and sometimes these songs have a timer on them, and they take on a different contour later in life. Like you said, like you listen to it for one reason, but then when you actually like read it or look at the words and find out the story, like, oh shit, you know, and it hits all of a sudden it hits in a different way.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5, this one is performance based, so it's not necessarily the content per se, although it is, but my number 5 is Hurt So Bad by Linda Ronstadt from 1980. Now, Linda Ronstadt is the cover queen. She doesn't write songs. She sources either covers or other songwriters to give her material. And Hurt So Bad, what it is about it is it's her vocal. You know, normally, you know, Linda Ronstadt can sing the phone book, but on Hurt So Bad, if you listen to the mix, it sounds like she's really up on the microphone, and she's almost whispering the vocals, and there's a quiver in her voice that you don't usually hear because she's such a great, strong singer. Where on this performance, she's letting that vulnerability in. And here, and then when it's time for the choruses, she belts, you know, hurts so, like she really, you know, hurts so bad. But then when it goes back to the verse again, she reverts back to that vulnerable, quivering voice again, and the production goes back to her having that intimate sound on the microphone, where the band is kind of behind her. It's great production, but it's kind of it's an intimate vocal. And then again, you know, when it gets to the choruses, she just rips. You know, and she really lets it out. She, you know, she's pleading this, you know, the person to come back and don't go. And there's no one better than Linda Ronstadt to execute that and execute those nuances. And Hurt So Bad is just, you know, it checks off all the boxes for me. So
great choice. Yeah.
Had to get Linda in there.
Of course you did.
Talk about her enough.
Dying to talk about Linda Ronstadt for
Ronstadt enough. We got to get her in there. We got to make her a homer. So
of course.
There we go. There's the first round, number 5. Eric, what do you have for number 4?
All right. So number 4 is a song that I was telling Dean, I don't normally look at lists when I come to these things. I like to try to, you know, just sort of off the cuff. I go from my gut. You know, they're not necessarily what I consider to be the ultimate top 5 and on anybody's list or anything, or they're just songs that I feel. But I feel in this case, I just wanted to kind of throw one in there just to, you know, because it does appear on a lot of people's lists. And I'm the film guy here, so there's 3 songs actually on my choices that are been made popular through film. And this song is Mad World by Tears for Fears, which was the cover version for Gary Jules was featured in Donnie Darko in 2001. Now, but I went back and listened to the Tears for Fears version, and like your choice of Matchbox 20, Reeya, is it's slightly more, it's very 80s sounding, but the lyrics just gut you. I mean, they just absolutely what the song is actually about. Just looking at the world from an inward point of view, depression and all that. It's really, and of course, Gary Jules brings that in his performance of it, because it's a much slower version, much more melancholy. So I actually put both on the list. I couldn't decide which one I prefer, but I think it's interesting. So Dean, whichever one you think is best for the playlist, be my guest.
No, we'll do a twofer. Why not?
Yeah.
I think it's
both so different, so it's not like one is replicating the other.
Yeah. Gary Jules, I think he's dipping his toes into the melancholy of it, and really getting into that mindset of what the song is about in his performance. But yet Tears for Fears version is just very Tears for Fears. It's very, a lot of sounds, a lot of nuances in the music. There's that click track that's going on, very 80s. But I watched the video, and that really got me too. But it's an interconnect, because there is a performance between Gary Jules and the lead singer from Tears for Fears. So
Kurt Smith.
Smith. And Kurt Smith actually performed it with his daughter as well, and like acoustic guitar. So that's a nice little thing to look up as well. But yeah, it really just gets you right in here. Of what it's about. So, it's a perfect choice. And of course it fits the mood of the character in the film as well. Mm-hmm. If you've seen the movie, but it just, I was actually, I had to have it on my list. So I just threw it on there. So that's my number 4.
You want to hear how much of a nerd I am?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear that song in Donnie Darko. They used it in the trailer for Gears of War, which is an Xbox 360 game in 2006 or 2007.
And I'm assuming that was the Tears for Fears version, right?
Oh, they used the Gary Jules version.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in the trailer for Gears of War, which is like an alien space marine. It's kind of like Aliens with space marines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was very effective, because the trailer was very atmospheric. It was very dark, and and Gary Jules's version is very much that. It's very atmospheric and very
it really,
it's kind of ambient. It takes its time.
It really speaks to the to isolation.
Yeah.
When you're inwardly isolated from that, it's like you do feel like an alien, right? So so I could definitely see that song being used in a sort of sci-fi context in that way. But yeah, it's a great both versions I are great.
We'll throw both on. You got it.
Okay.
Reeya, anything about Mad World?
I mean, I don't know if I have anything more articulate to add. I mean, it's a great choice. It's not something that, it's funny. It's not something like when I was like, what are my 5 picks or whatever, and it was hard to narrow them down. And it's interesting hearing you guys, because you're giving me something. I was like, damn it, I should have picked that one too.
we have many episodes with that reaction.
We do that all the time. And if Dean picks something that I wanted to pick, I'm always like, yay, like, all right, like I'm giving them the high five, because it deserves to be on the list. But then we're always trying to sort of like, in this, because we don't want too much overlap.
Yeah,
we're always trying to outguess each other. What are we going to do? And the more people we have on for these things, of course, it's always interesting to get somebody else's point of view. So
and there we go. That being said, number 4, Reeya, what do you have for number 4?
Number 4, Dean, did I tell you about how much of a U2 fan I am when I was here last time?
I don't think you really hit it home. You kind of, I think you glanced over it. You didn't really hit it home for me.
Yeah, I'm a big U2 fan. I know that that's polarizing for people, because everyone got really mad at them when they put the album on everyone's iPhone, and I was like, okay, I like getting a free U2 album. But they're genuinely, like, they're great musicians. I love them, and I don't, if anybody comes at me for that, then I have like a bunch of rebuttals, and I usually start with Joshua Tree, Octoon Baby, like I'll just throw albums at them. So this one that I'm thinking of is off of Rattle and Hum, which was I think that was the post Joshua Tree, pre Octoon Baby. It's All I Want Is You.
Yep.
And it is just devastatingly sad. What I love about this, it's kind of similar to what you were saying, Dean, about the Linda Ronstadt performance. Bono is like known for like his big belting voice, and this song starts out with him almost whispering, which is not really his usual mode, but then it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and by the end he's just like wailing. It's a really slow build, and it's just like you can just feel your stomach tightening as he does it, and it's just all about just like longing, and you say you want this, and you say you want this, and you say you want this, but all I want is you. And it's like there's something about this song that, like, when I listen to it, it feels like you're standing at the edge of a cliff, and you're looking at, you're like, okay, everything that I've built and every safe choice in my life and everything, I'm just going to throw that away so that I'm going to dive into this love that I'm searching for. Like that's what this song, that's like the imagery of this song. And then again at the end, by the time Bono's wailing, I'm just like, okay, that's the cliff dive. That's the,
Yeah, it starts off very simply.
Yeah.
Very
It's acoustic, like strumming, like acoustic. And then, I mean, he's almost whispering. Bono's not a whisperer. Bono's loud. So yeah, it's very effective. Yeah.
Almost matter of factly, the song starts out, and then it just kind of keeps kind of improving on itself and building and kind of uses that as the foundation. It just goes crazy. Yeah. A lot of people, Rattle and Hum was a really popular album, but it's half a live album, half a studio. Like people kind of like, it was like, okay, what is this really? But it's both, and it's both of them are fantastic because you got, you got to hear.
I'm glad you chose a song from that record because I really dug it as well. And the songs that he did that weren't on any other album, are brilliant. So you're almost getting like sort of an EP there with the live stuff. So it's a celebration of their popularity at the time, but also, let's give you some more, stuff here. So so great choice.
Yeah. Anybody comes at you against U2, we've got your back. This is a U2 safe zone. We will defend it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We will defend. I will defend Macfisto. All right, my number 4. Here's where we're going to get a little obscure, and the rest of these are relatively recent songs as well, except for one. My number 4 is "If We Were Vampires" by Jason Isbell from 2017.
Okay.
I got into Jason Isbell. He was in that group Drive By Truckers, and then he went solo.
Sure. Yeah.
So kind of folk rock, Americana stuff, and it was coming up. He kept on coming up on Pandora or Spotify, and he had just all these interesting songs. And then "If We Were Vampires" is just, it's about him being in a relationship and knowing that either him or his spouse is going to die, and one of them are going to be left alone. Like one, he says it's inevitable, but if we were vampires, we wouldn't have to worry about it. We could laugh about it because we're going to live forever, and it would be a joke. Like that kind of stuff would be a joke to us, but it's not, so, and it's kind of like if we were vampires and death was a joke, and I wouldn't feel the need to hold your hand, but because we're not vampires, I do feel the need to hold your hand. And, one of the lyrics is maybe time running out is a gift.
Yeah.
And so it's really, it's not a very long song, but he kind of goes in there. And it's just him and an acoustic guitar, and his wife at the time, he's divorced. She's kind of singing some harmony in there too. So it's just a really intimate thing. And it's just it's just a strange title, but it makes sense within the context of it. So "If We Were Vampires" by Jason Isbell.
I actually have never heard that song, but I'm going to go look it up when we get done here. Because the way you describe it is just, like, what a amazing, heavy, quirky, like existential, everything, packed into, he said not a very long song, but that's there's a lot going on in that song if it's not that long.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he knows how to deliver. He's one of those people that really knows how to say things. And yeah, so I got into him and had the opportunity to see him perform it live. So that was always a good thing. So, all right, Eric, we're barreling through this list. We're barreling into number 3, and you have not even touched 2 of the songs I predicted you would. So I'm thinking maybe one of them are going to be number 1. And you know what? Actually, Reeya is kind of in the mix for one of them. Now, seeing what you're picking, you're kind of in the mix for one of the ones I took off and put it on the honorable mention. So,
Okay.
we'll see. Only time will tell. Eric, what do you got for number 3?
An album I really, we talked about a lot of 90s stuff that sort of passed us by, in the sense that, 90s was not a very great decade for me personally, but so there's a lot of great music that I, sort of listened to late in the game. One album that I really, really adore is Dummy by Portishead. And Roads is an absolutely heartbreaking I mean, this is probably, I guess you could go for mood, performance, the sort. It is somewhat, I guess you could say it's somewhat sexy, but at the same time, just I'm going to lean more towards the sad side of it. I mean, it's just her voice in this song is absolutely just, and she doesn't consider herself a good singer. She's like, I hate my voice. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because it's absolutely a really, and it really kind of, you don't even have to think about what she's saying. Just to me, it's just, it's the, what I'm hearing, the music, her voice, and I don't even care what she's talking about. It's just, it really kind of puts you in that mood.
Mm-hmm.
All you do is just sit in the dark with, with maybe one light on or something. I don't know, have a glass of whiskey or something and just sit there and listen to this. I think the whole album kind of is like that, but in this particular sense, that song just kills it and kills me in emotion. I get in that vibe of just, just in that zone of just zoning out to it, but feeling it, is definitely the thing. So yeah, there it is. That's my number.
Right. Yeah. Portishead, Roads by Portishead.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Reeya, number 3.
All right. This is an example of a song that people might think is sad for one reason, but it's sad for me for a very specific reason that's not straightforward. Hey Jude by the Beatles.
Oh.
Which, I mean, I think at first glance, it might even seem cheerful. When Paul McCartney performs it live, I've seen him perform it live, it becomes a big giant sing-along. Mm-hmm. But the backstory is it's him singing to Julian Lennon, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Your parents are splitting up and, but here's where this is going to become like a very intertwined, complicated story. I am an avid consumer of Beatles media as well as Beatles music. So if there's a documentary about the Beatles, I probably have watched it. If there's, I have the entire Beatles anthology, companion CDs, and I have it on DVD, even though I don't have a DVD player anymore and you can't stream it because Apple's weird. Not Apple Corps, that the Beatles company. And so in the Beatles anthology, Paul McCartney talks about when he was writing this song, he played it for John and Yoko, and he was workshopping it. He was like work in progress. And the line in the song, the movement you need is on your shoulder. He was singing to them. And as he was singing, he was like, I'll fix that one. That's like a placeholder lyric. I'll fix that one. And then apparently John was like, what are you talking about? And Paul was like, the movement you need is on your shoulder. That sounds stupid to me. It sounds like a parrot on my shoulder. Like, I don't. And John was like, no, that's the best line in the song. You need to keep that in there. And so then Paul says, ever since then, when I hear the song or I play the song and I come to that line, I think of John. And then again, so my mom got me into the Beatles, and my mom and I used to watch we watched the Beatles anthology when it aired live on TV, and then we had the box set and whatever. I used to watch that with her. That was like our comfort TV. And so it's one of these things where like it's all just becomes like a mishmash because I hear the line in the song and I know that when Paul sings the song, he's thinking of John. And then I'm thinking of myself watching the Beatles anthology with my mom, watching Paul talk about this song, remembering John. And it's just like one big mishmash. And then like I'm crying in the car. So that's my little surprise sad song. I mean, it's also, I mean, I think it's a great song generally, but I don't know if people would necessarily clock that as like a sad song in a conventional way, because I mean, maybe, I don't know, the original concept is sort of, I mean, he's trying to comfort a child who's like, my family's falling apart. So, you know, like there's obviously something sad in there, but like for me, it gets all meta.
It gets personal because of the circumstances with which you learned about the behind the scenes song, right? And everything you did with your mom related to the Beatles. So that's, you know, it's kind of a connection in that aspect. So yeah, it is kind of, I mean, it is, you know, the whole na 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 at the end, so everyone's kind of singing. So it is kind of a, you know, an but no, it was written because of a child was in distress, right? He was, you know, feeling abandoned by his father, who was never around, and he wanted to make him feel better. So he tried to write a song for a sad child.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so no, Hey Jude, that's all right. Again, this is a Beatles safe place as well. So, you know, let your Beatles fly.
I have yet to find a non-Beatles safe space. If you know where those places are, I will avoid them.
There's a few actually. There's a lot of people. Oh, the Beatles. You know, I don't understand, or you know, they do, but it's hip to be contrarian.
Yeah.
Right. It's hip, to like not, you know, well, what I don't see what the big deal, you know. So, I know a couple of those people that are just contrarian just because, you know, it's like, all right, well, whatever. Your loss. That's just more plays that we get to give the Beatles and you.
That's right.
So hey, dude, that's a great one. Number 3 for me is from 2015. I'm actually going to, well, when this episode comes out, I will have already seen this band, but I'm going to see them next week at Madison Square Garden, and that's Lord Huron. And they're the song "Fool for Love" from 2015 from their album Strange Trails. Oddly enough, the last time I went to go visit Eric, I drove down to Maryland, and this song kept coming up on Pandora or Spotify, and I didn't, you know, it's a very catchy tune. It's very up tempo, and I only took it as that pretty much every time I listened to it. But then when I read the lyrics, I'm like, oh my God, you know, this is about a guy who's in love with a woman, and he's gonna, you know, I'm gonna make her mine type thing. But there's a guy that she's with, and he's really big. But I'm not afraid to fight him because I'm a fool for love, so I'll fight him. And the song is a story. If you know anything about Lord Huron, they're very much into stories. And you know, the guy who fights this big guy, and he's like, you know, tell me when you had enough. And then the lyrics change to, you know, wait until I catch my breath. So he's starting to get the crap beat out of him. But then the very last verses are him, you know, I lie in the drifting snow, bleeding out as it covers me. If spring comes before I'm found, just throw my bones in the hole in the ground. So he got he got the crap beat out of him, and he's laying there dying. You know, and it's just weird, you know, and it's, you know, lyrics are, I drift into the great unknown, and I really don't know where I'm going. And I'm like, how did this up-tempo song become like this meditation on a guy like dying and like laying there, and he realizes that, you know, I should have never done this, but you know, I'm a fool for love. So I had to go and fight for her, even though I'm going to die, you know, because of this. So it's really strange, but it's such an up tempo, catchy song. It's great, but the lyrics kind of, you know, take you through this thing where he's going to fight for her. Then he fights the guy and he's winning. Then he's losing. And then it doesn't work out for him. So fool for love. So I wrote starts out as kind of a love song and devolves into death. But it's kind of, it's
Well, a
catchy.
lot of songs go there, don't they?
So yeah. So, but Lord Huron is so good at creating
Yeah.
worlds and storytelling. So, and it's part of a larger concept. So that was my number 3, "Fool for Love." And don't forget, everybody, this is going to be on YouTube Music. We're creating a playlist, and we're going to put all these songs on there. We also invite you to send us your picks on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or you can message us right through your favorite podcast platform and give us your picks, and we will add them to the crowdsource list. That being said, Eric, number 2, what do you got?
Oh man, we're already on number 2.
We are sailing through this.
I am looking at my list right now, and I'm trying to I'm shuffling. I'm like, damn it, I don't know. Like,
Pick one.
I think I'm going for. I mean, the way I've been going, it's sort of like in chronological order. So I guess I'll just go there.
All right.
We talked about the album. I'm sorry, and I know we could, but I couldn't leave it off the list because I listened to this endlessly.
Okay.
It's become one of my top 5 favorite Genesis songs.
Okay.
And it's we did Duke.
Yep.
And it's a song called Heat Haze, which is a deep cut from the record, written by Tony Banks, the keyboardist. Mm-hmm. And God damn, is this a beautiful track. It reflects on just one's view of the world. I think it's just looking out and how, we tend to think the world could be this beautiful place, and it turns out to be, it's a sort of a cautionary tale about, the world isn't so beautiful sometimes, and you got to be careful, and you have to become a totally different person in effect to view the world, and to kind of put that balance in yourself of seeing the world from a beautiful point of view or an ugly point of view. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And this song just really kind of drives that home. Phil Collins' his vocal in this is just, it's not as, that we come to know in the 80s. There's that.
It's not as Phil Collins-y.
There's that flamboyance to his voice that everybody got sick of hearing in the 80s. And this is like, his voice was still very soft and vulnerable. This was probably the last album that he sounded like that. And it starts off very, he starts very smooth and quiet. And then it builds to this tremendous chorus, and the chord structure in there is gorgeous. And it's just, I can't get enough of this track. And it's probably the reason why Duke has become moved up the ladder for me, Dean, in that way, because songs like this, you weren't really thinking about back in the day, but now you're getting older, and it's like, why was this song not always my favorite? So it's a Homer choice, of course. I'm a big Genesis fan, but there it is. I had to put it on there.
Yeah, it's the beautiful thing about music, and I guess it's the beautiful thing about aging, is things start to hit different.
Yeah.
Or you just are oblivious to it. You're just listening to it. Oh, this is a cool song on an album I like. And then years later, when you listen to the lyrics, wow, okay, this, So it's, like I said, that's the beauty of music is, you could like something for years, and then all of a sudden it wallops you. When you're open to it, when everything is right, or whatever it is, the frequencies are right, or you're open to it at a certain time, and it just kind of comes rushing in and gets you. So all right. Well, we've got the Duke episode, so you can go get the in-depth on that, and then you can listen to the song on the playlist. Reeya, number 2.
Number 2. So this is a song that because I was trying to, when I was trying to put my list together, I was trying to think of songs that were sad, obviously, but I didn't want to go to the obvious well, because I could have been like Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Beautiful song, super sad, devastating, iconic, but of course, you know what I mean? So I was trying to make it a little bit more personal to me, and then also just not what people are expecting. And then I kind of came across this song that I'd completely forgotten about. It's funny, Eric, you were talking about songs that are kind of became popular due to movies. So The Blower's Daughter by Damien Rice, which I associate very strongly with the Mike Nichols film Closer, which is a really hard movie to watch. That's just
Yes,
like,
it
it's
is.
just
That is
really,
a
really,
yeah,
really, just
yeah,
uncomfortable and, you know, painful and icky. I don't know. I mean, like, you know, it's like, it's just,
yeah,
it's a hard watch. Um, but the song and the movie starts and closes with this song, and it's you know, when I'm able to take it out of the context of the movie, which I like the movie, but it's, let me put it this way: I like the movie, but it's not a movie that I'm like, hey, I'm in the mood to watch a movie. Let me watch Closer. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But
I
that's a
appreciate
great
it.
thing though, because it makes you
Yeah,
feel a certain way, and
yeah,
it doesn't necessarily have to make you feel good. The
right,
movie kind of they know the assignment.
right,
It did its job. So
right.
anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So no, that's all good. I'm all
Yeah,
about. I studied film, by the way, Eric. So I
yeah.
have a kind of filmmaker's lens with music as well. So this song, and again, when I pull it out of the context of the movie and I just kind of listen to the lyrics, it's kind of about obsession, but like tender obsession, if that
Mm,
makes sense. I mean, like
yeah,
it's like he keeps repeating, "I can't take my eyes off of you. I can't take my eyes off of you." And it's not like a pickup line, you know. He's not trying to, you know, get her to come home with him or whatever. It's like he's barely, you know, like she's pulling him and he's like barely surviving like the kind of gravitational force or something that this woman has created for him. And it's like this ache of like, oh, I shouldn't feel like this, but I do feel this way, and it feels like a confession, but it also feels like this is wrong. I don't know. It's like that's kind of, when I listen to it and I'm trying to remove it from the context of the film, that's what I'm hearing in this song. And it's
yeah,
just like it's just very quietly devastating, because it's just, to me it just sounds like a guy who's just like, I should not feel this. I should not feel love for this person for any whatever reason, any myriad of reasons, but I do, and it's just exquisitely painful.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Good
And
choice.
what was the title again by Damien Rice? What was the title?
The Blower's Daughter.
The
Mm.
Blower's Daughter. Okay. All right. Damien Rice making an appearance. List. Here we go. This is not. None of this is going the way I thought it would.
You have you. By the way, Reeya, you have very good taste. Throw that out there. Yeah,
It-
The mics and be like, really? Oh my god! Yeah.
it's all great.
yeah.
My number two. This song came to me last year, and it just hit me so hard, and I don't know what it is. There's something about it, and I'm gonna be doing a deep dive. Uh, the song is from 1973, and it's "I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You" from Tom Waits.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's from his debut album, and this just randomly popped up on music I was listening to, and it hit me. I'm like, I have to remember this song, and it is I mean, the guy was like 24, and he has that voice. Even at 24, he sounded like he was 54. Like he never sounded like a young guy. And it's about a guy that's in a bar, and a woman comes in, and he goes, and it's like almost like this wishful thinking when you're in the bar. He's like, I hope I don't fall in love with you, and he's imagining like going up to her and lighting her cigarette, and how great thing we could really make a go of it. And he keeps the refrain is still, I hope that I don't fall in love with you.
Mhm.
And then the guy she's with leaves, and there's an empty seat, and should I walk up there? Should I sit with her? And then she finally leaves. And then he's like, I think I just fell in love with you. And it's just so like,
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's like it's so like a lonely guy in a bar
right.
looking at somebody and imagining like what could be with this person, but doesn't have the guts to walk up to her, and he imagines all these things happening. And then when he finally turns around and she's gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and the line's like, I think I'll have another stout, and I turned around and you were gone, and I think that I just fell in love with you. And just the way it's a very simple song. It's just him and his guitar, and he's just that matter of fact way that he has of just delivering these lines, and it floored me when I heard it last year. I'm like, oh my god, this is just absolutely stunning. It was heart wrenching. Just the way he's got that again, his voice has got that leather on it,
Of course.
world weariness that he was, I guess, born with.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing from his debut album. I hope that I don't fall in love with you from Tom.
And again, an artist that, back in our youth, we probably would never paid attention to, right?
No.
I mean, it's just one of those, you just hear his voice and you're just like, what is that? Even like we felt the same way about Dylan to a certain extent, right? I mean, but now you're starting to, kind of dive into the lyrical content and what these artists are really about. So, yeah.
You absolutely get it. All right, here we go. We are rolling into number one, but don't worry, we've got the honorable mentions, the ones that were kind of swirling the drain, but didn't quite go down the pipe. So, Eric, number one, what is your number one sad song?
All right, so this song, I'm going back to 2012, and this is from I can't get through this song without crying. There's just every time I either watch the film or I listen to the song, there's no way I can, and it's not necessarily a sad song, but it's personal to me because of it, and it's from the movie Boyhood, and that is Hero by Family of the Year. And it's just, if you've seen the film, it's not a terribly, it's an amazing film, just for the fact that it was made over the course of 12 years. And you see these kids in the movie, everybody ages in the film, which is a remarkable achievement. But the film itself, I mean, it's not to everybody's tastes. I took it, if you're, because I'm a parent and, my kids are, they didn't have the best, not necessarily the best childhood. And it's just, and, it's not about the big things in life. It's not about the achievements, the big achievements. Like this kid, he grows to, in his 18, 19 years old, and he's not going off to college. He wants to see the world. He wants to do, so it's the simple things in life that matter. And that's what Linkletter was trying to convey. And this song really kind of reflects that. And then the song, says, look, I don't want to be your hero. I don't want to put those expectations on my kids. You know what I mean? And as a kid of my parents who expected more from me, and maybe didn't do the things that they wanted me to do and that kind of thing, the disappointment that they might have felt, that hits home. So it's like you're feeling it from the kid's perspective, but also as a parent. And I never wanted to put that kind of pressure on my kids. So it's just, so it just really, and the song, because it's so, it has that shuffle to it, and the choral, when they all kick in and starts, the whole band is singing at the same time and harmonizing, it just absolutely breaks my heart. And it just, I can't get through it without friggin' weeping.
There you go.
I just think of, I think of them, and I'm so proud of them. And I'm, so it's a sadness I guess in a regretful way, to a certain extent, but in a way, but it's also a happy kind of sadness in a sense. It's very, the tears flow and you just feel better. It's like Reeya was saying, it's that kind of song that kind of just makes you feel better. But you need to get that out, And so I
hear you. All right. Was it? It's a For Hanky song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we should have done that. We should have had Hanky.
I'm tearing up even talking about it right now.
Oh boy.
I'm just, it's that emotional to me. I don't know what it is about it. I never heard of the band. I haven't followed the band. I didn't even listen to the rest of the album. It's just that one track, and that, and it just, wow. That's
great.
Yeah. It's one of those wonders that just get you, so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to be ready. Reeya, number one.
Number one. It's funny because I don't know why I even ranked them this way, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But "Long December" by Counting Crows, and I think this is more of a. It's funny because this song came out in 1996, but I didn't become aware of it until I was in college, which was many years later. And I remember this is one of those songs where I was like you were just saying, Eric, I was like, I feel down. I'm going to put on my headphones and listen to Long December like 10 times in a row because I'm feeling sad. And the lyrics say, maybe this year will be better than you're just feeling crummy about life. And, it's sort of hopeful, but then you're also just sort of like wallowing a little bit. My, my best friend, he's kind of like a little brother to me. He's younger enough than me that he has different vocabulary. He was like, it's a vibe. It's like a vibe. It's got a vibe. And and then like again, this is one of those things where I started looking into it later on because it came on the Spotify like AI DJ again figured me out and was like, hey, you haven't heard this song in a while. And I was like, oh, I remember this. It's a vibe. And I went to look up what it was about because I was like, all I remember was listening to it in college when I was just like melancholy. About like probably a guy, I don't know. And I found out that it's about Adam, Adam Derwitz. Yeah. So his friend passed away in a car accident. And again, this is one of those things where you learn that you come back and you listen to the song and then it just changes, it reshapes your understanding of the song.
Mm.
And it's like, and now it's like, I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like about how it's like when life splits kind of into before and after, and you kind of get like talking about reshaping understanding the song, and grief kind of reshapes you as well. And then maybe things will get better, maybe not, I don't know. But this is one of those songs that's like, it's a vibe. I don't know. I keep going back to that. But like Eric, you were saying earlier too, it feels timely because all of these kind of icons seem to be passing away. And you started this with David Bowie, and we lost Ozzy, and there's been, personal losses in my life recently as well. And so it's just one of those things that it feels very timely to be thinking about a song about like what grief does to you. And trying to find hope within that grief somehow. So it's a vibe. I'm just going to keep saying that now. It's a vibe.
It works. It works. Yeah, counting Crows, you're not going to go wrong with. I mean,
right.
Crying out loud. I remember when their first single, Mr. Jones, came out.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, this sounds like it had a Van Morrison vibe for some reason. I'm like, for some reason,
see that. Yeah.
Like Van Morrison, like it just felt like that type of a thing. And I'm like, so kind of, I ended up buying the CD because I'm like, oh, this is, it kind of grabbed me. I'm like, these guys are making interesting sounds. And then they just kind of, took it from there. And they're actually back now. I think they just put out a new album or a new single.
I think so. Yeah.
So they're, they have the staying power, and and he's got a great voice, Adam Duritz. He's just
yeah.
He's very expressive, and he can absolutely do it. Oh, wow, that what? Whew. Those are good lists. It's gonna be this is gonna be a good playlist. Like
absolutely.
So my number one is my number one. This song, I just saw this group in May and they played it and I started to cry. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yeah.
No, you don't. I don't think you do. It's not the Homer.
No, I know it's not the Homer.
Okay.
We haven't talked about him yet.
You're okay. So then you have it. I'll give it to you. You got it. It's Morning Song by the Avett Brothers from their
I knew it.
Magpie and the Dandelion. If there's a group that knows how to write lyrics that speak plainly about things that are universal, that anybody can feel and attach to, it is I don't know how they do it. The Avett Brothers speak plainly about life, sadness, making mistakes, and death, and they just do it amazingly. Their harmonies are amazing. And Morning Song is it's a simple song, about being sad but not realizing that it would last as long as it does, or not hurting longer than it should, or lasting longer than it should. And I wasn't ready for that. I know I'm going to be sad, but this is going on longer than I thought, And then the beautiful thing about the Avett Brothers is, Scott and Seth, harmonize with each other, but on this song they also sing individual verses, and it's a beautiful song. And
It is.
it just hit, Avett Brothers can make me cry. They're one of the few groups that I can listen to and just because like they're genuine, and like I said, they're just something about their lyrics are just straight to the point about being a good person, or we make mistakes, but try and be a good person, do the best you can, or that kind of stuff. So Morning Song is, even though I know there's hope in every morning song, I have to find that melody alone. So it's kind of about, I know it's out there, but I got to get through it myself. I know there's help out there, and it's there, but I got to find the answer on my own. So it's yeah. Morning Song from 2013. That was. There are a bunch of other Avett Brothers songs that I could have picked, one in particular, but we stayed away from that. So there's our top 5 from all of us. So that's 15 songs. So let's move into the honorable mentions, and we'll go through these a little bit quicker. We'll kind of roll through these. Now, Eric, you did not hit what I thought you were going to hit. So maybe if it doesn't show up on your first pick for one of the honorable mentions, I'm going to start grabbing some of these. So go ahead. What's your first honorable mention?
All right. My first will be, it was really hard not to actually put him in the top 5, but this is a song, again, this is strictly through it's a sad song for sure, but it's strictly through the performance. And that is, and I specifically chose the live version from Carnegie Hall's Bill Withers' Hope She'll Be Happier. From his debut, Just As I Am, but the live version for me is even more heartbreaking because he has a full on orchestra with him. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is about how that affects it. The live performance, his voice is just so naked in that performance, and it just really, it just gets me right in the gut. And it's just, the song is pretty straightforward. It's just a breakup. He just wishes her well. He obviously is so in love with this person that, things didn't work out. So but there's bitterness there. It's a bittersweet song. And it's just, and you really hear that in the performance. So, yeah.
All right.
So check it out. So if you're going to look it up, do Live at Carnegie Hall.
You got it.
Is the live album. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As they say in the olden days, thy will be done.
All right.
Reeya, you got an honorable mention or two or 3 or 7 or 10?
I have a couple. I have a couple. One is we're going to go back to the grief well again. Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton.
Eric is a huge Clapton fan, so you
yeah. I mean, if someone isn't, I don't like them. So but this is like, what I love about this particular song too is like it's just this very, very, very like quiet side of Clapton. I think of Clapton, I think of, Crossroads, I think of Layla, like this just like big giant bursts of like intense emotion. And this is intense, but it's so quiet. And like the backstory obviously is so sad. But it's also like it's one of these songs where like there's something universal about the lyrics. And again, because I lost a parent at a young age, this is a song that like very, very quickly activates like the grief button. Like I will hear it in the grocery store, and then I'm like, all right, I'm crying in the frozen foods aisle. This is great. But it's just like it's so simple, and it's like, and what's funny about it for me too is like my mother who passed, she was a big Marxist atheist, don't believe in God, whatever, there's no afterlife, don't whatever. And so there's something very strange for me to listen to a song where you say, well, you know my name if you saw me in heaven. And I'm thinking about my mother, and she was like, there is no heaven. And there's something sort of like, again, there's that juxtaposition in my head also makes it seem sadder. I mean, I would say I'm more agnostic. I'm not as hardcore in that regard, but it's like that sort of weird ambiguity of what he's saying and what she believed, but the song makes me think of her. And so that, again, it's sad because of his backstory, and then it's also sad because of what I bring to it. I mean, I think that's the thing about most sad songs too, is like somebody wrote it because they were sad, but then you listen to it and then you imprint whatever your story is onto it, and then it becomes your sad song.
Becomes your
I think this was his, for me, because I got into him late. I was actually very proud of the fact that he wrote this as his, like, because he could have easily slipped back into drinking and drugs, because of the loss of his son, and but he didn't. He just wrote, and he wrote this beautiful song, which is very universal, by the way, and it became probably one of his biggest hits.
Yeah,
I always felt it's too personal of a song to be a hit. I always kind of like,
I know what you mean.
Is it, you know what I mean? So is it that commercial? Not really. But when he did that album, the hip hop album that he did, which I actually like, because there's songs in there like My Father's Eyes. All of these kinds of songs are all coming from that well. And there's a very specific song that he wrote about his son called Circus, and which was the very last thing he did with him the day before this happened.
To remember. I feel like I know. I can't think of it in my head, but I know.
And
I know
that song breaks my heart too, because and again, very simple, and he's just laying it out. He's just telling you what they did for the day, and he goes, but the chorus, the lyric goes, it's so sad, so sad. Everybody comes when the circus leaves town, meaning that everybody's coming now to honor his son.
Yeah.
But the circus has left. It's like they're not coming for this; they're coming for the sadness of losing his child, and that's just
wow. Two, it's almost a double shot from Clapton.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the one, Eric, I thought for sure you were going to pick the saddest of the sad songs from 1992. Everybody Hurts from REM.
That was one of my honorable mentions.
I thought for sure. I'm like, Eric is going to pick Everybody Hurts, so I'm just going to stay away from it. It is
no. You know what? I did. It's not on my list. I thought. I thought about it, but I just didn't think.
Oh my God!
No.
Paired with the music video, also.
There's a song on my honorable mention that I'm surprised you didn't pick.
Okay.
And
maybe we'll get to it. But yeah, Everybody Hurts is just a simple instrumentation, because it's almost there to keep time. It's almost like a clock ticking, the way the instrumentation is. Because this is Michael Stipe's time to deliver, and he just delivers a vocal that it rips your heart out. It absolutely tears your heart out, that about hanging on. This happens to everybody, literally. So hold on, you can do it. When you're on your own and you feel this way, hold on. You can make it through. And I remember that when that video came out, it was just like, because it has all these people in a traffic jam, and it has like all these little like subtitles underneath, the guy sitting in the car, and they're like, they don't know how I feel about this, or the kid is, all these different things, and just paired with it, it's like, holy crap, So yeah, Everybody Hurts. Sad. I wrote Saddest of the Sad, 1992. So, all right. You got another one?
I do. Right. This is from another film. It's a recent film, but it's an old song, and I had never heard it until I heard it in this song and in this film, and just going back to, I watched it because it's now become one of my favorite Christmas movies, which is The Holdovers. With Paul Giamatti, and I watched it with the family and over the holidays, and my eldest son just went through a divorce, and when he watched this movie for the first time and heard this song, he got up and just started to cry, and he was, he's like, what's the matter? He's like, I'm just so sad. So it breaks my heart, but the song is called Crying, Laughing, Loving, Lying. And it's by an artist called Labi Siffre, and he's like a folk artist in the early, like this came out in like 72.
Oh wow!
He's a black artist, but he's also homosexual. So he was singing about all of these things, and this is really kind of where that song is going. And if you listen to the song, it kind of takes you at it like, okay, this is not necessarily sad, but when you get to the lying portion of it, that's when it kicks in and you realize what the song's really about. So I'm just going to leave it there. Just, if you've never heard the song, just listen to it.
I may have,
And
I may not have realized it in the movie, but
and you'll
Yeah, I didn't realize it. Yeah,
yeah
I mean, I love the movie, but yeah,
yeah
I've not taken a deep dive into the soundtrack. But
yeah
all
it's
right.
a great track. Yeah. So
yeah.
We're adding it to the playlist. Reeya,
yep.
you got some more?
Yeah, I got one. I feel like this belongs in the "Nothing Compares to You" category, which I was look. Let's throw that in. I mean,
We'll
it's
use it.
because
It gives you an extra spot, so nothing compares to you. We'll throw.
um the Adele, "Someone Like You." I feel like this is just a very classic sad banger. Like it's just she's just it's just I don't know. I mean, like it's probably her most famous song at this point. Well, I don't know. The music video for "Hello" kind of made that was a big deal too. The black and white with her on the flip phone. But yeah, no, I think that this is one of these like it's sort of this weird universal like wistful like I'm sad, I'm happy for you, I'm sad for me, and then I'm just gonna. It's like the quintessential. Like I feel like she wrote that song when she was in the same mood I was in, where I'm like, okay, I feel sad right now. I'm gonna put on my headphones and listen to a sad song and feel better. I feel like she wrote that song being like, I'm sad. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna write a sad song, and then I'm gonna feel less sad or more sad. But I feel like it comes from that kind of cathartic impulse, and I think that's also the way she performs too. She's got that big throaty voice, and when she gets to the chorus and it's just like it's I mean that's just catharsis in a nutshell. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like that's a sad banger.
Yeah, she's
That's
just.
what it
You know what? I'm gonna follow that
is.
with someone from that era because there was a time when Amy Winehouse and Adele were both recording, and they were both kind of in the beginning considered kind of throwbacky because Adele's first hit was "Chasing Pavements," and it kind of had an older kind of sound to it, and of course
Yep.
Amy Winehouse. But there was a third artist, Duffy from England, and she had a song called.
Okay. Yeah.
She,
Okay.
had, she was known for that song "Mercy," but
Yeah.
her other song, she has a song called "Warwick Avenue," which absolutely is has the throwback sound to it. And it can run with she can run with Adele and Amy Winehouse, and it's about her going to Warwick Avenue to meet her boyfriend, who's about going to be her ex boyfriend, and it's
Mm.
how we're not, I'm going to spend an hour with you, maybe an hour or two, but that's it, and it's over because you don't, you say you love me, but you really don't know how to love. So it's her kind of talking like either like in the video, she's in a taxi cab, kind of on the way, and she's kind of going like in her mind, this mental list of you're not going to, I'm not going to fall into the trap of getting back with you because, I've made up my mind,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to it, and it's kind of, so the refrain is always when I get to Warwick Avenue because that's where they're going to meet, and it's just kind of each verse is kind of like when I get to Warwick Avenue, and she just kind of goes through almost like going through her mental list of plans and why she's not going to stay with him. So yeah, Duffy, unfortunately, she had some horrible things happen to her, and she left the business for a while. I think she came back. But around the time when Amy Winehouse and Adele were coming out, Duffy was like that was like the trio of English artists that were
Mhm.
kind of had a throwbacky sound, and she can belt with the best of them too, Duffy. So
Yeah. Good.
all
Wow.
right,
This is a powerhouse of a list,
yeah,
man.
Reeya, do you have a couple more or no? Are you
Do I have a couple more? It's funny you could because you mentioned Amy Winehouse, and uh,
if you
I
hold, well, if you do hold it, I'm going to go to Eric, but I
okay.
want to make sure you've got
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we
I
doing
spontaneously have an honorable mention now because you mentioned it.
are we doing one more or two more?
We'll
At
see.
this
Well,
Okay.
we'll do one more. I think four. Right? That would be four or three each.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. So again, the emotional of the performance, the inevitability of facing death, is has to go to Freddie. And with The Show Must Go On.
Wow.
That is a killer. I mean, I tear up. I mean, I don't know about. I mean, it's that's a power song. I mean, the vocal in that is what, I mean, that was what, that was pretty much their last album, wasn't it?
Yeah, Innuendo was
Innuendo, yeah.
he was dying when they were recording it. I mean, he said,
Right. And I could not believe the performance he got out of them,
Yeah.
knowing that he's so sick, and just to hear that, it's inspiring, but at the same time, very, very sad. But yeah, that was definitely something I had to throw on there.
Yeah.
It was actually the last minute, but I was like, oh, wait a minute,
Yeah, that whole album is tinged with it because he
Yeah.
knew, and he said, use me. He goes, whatever I can do, let's get in the studio and just
Yeah.
keep recording, and I'll go for as long as I can each day, and we'll just kind of get so much so that they had enough for like that Made in Heaven album, which had some extra stuff on it. But Innuendo is just so melancholy because some all the songs kind of have that
right.
By now, almost kind of like Bowie with Black Stars, kind of like they knew this was coming, it was inevitable in Freddie's case, So wow, show must go on. Good choice. All right, Reeya, one more,
and this is seriously 11th hour because it came to mind because you were talking about Duffy after I talked about Adele. It's Amy Winehouse, "Wake Up Alone," which is not necessarily one of the radio hits.
Mm-hmm.
But years ago, I did how long ago? I was 5 or 6 years ago at this point, did a show where we just sang a bunch of Amy Winehouse covers. And I remember picking this one specifically because it's got a very, very like 60s feel. It's got this kind of plinking piano thing. It's very haunting. And it's just, I mean, a lot of that record is about her horrible, toxic relationship with her horrible, toxic husband. But this one in particular always kind of got me because it's almost less about him and it's more about her being sad and sick of how sad she is about him and how depressed she is about him. And it's like, I mean, the first lyrics are, "It's okay in the day I'm staying busy." And it's like she talks about, "I'm staying up, I'm cleaning the house,
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm not drinking." She's doing everything she can to distract herself from feeling bad about him, but then she feels bad and then she wakes up alone and she's reminded that she feels horrible about the situation. And it's just, but it's a detour from what the rest of the album is about, which is mostly just she's yearning for this guy who's, I mean, we all know the toxicity of that relationship. But this one is just interesting to me because it's sad in a different way, because it's almost like she's more sad about like, I'm sick of being this version of myself that's hung up on this guy.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting and unexpected turn for her to take, especially on this record. So that's my 11th hour honorable mention.
That works. I wrote a homer in just like right before we came on, but I don't think I'm going to use it. I think I'm just going to,
Why?
No homer, because I have a song on here that was on the top 5 and I took it off. So that I think deserves to be there instead of one that I just wrote. I'm like, oh, it was more of a thought experiment to see what ELO sad songs I could come up with rather than actually using it. But my final choice is "We've Got Tonight" by Bob Seger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's another song that's performance driven, because he's got that voice that always sounds like he's straining, right? Yeah. And it's tender, it's pleading, they've whatever has happened, they've broken up, but you know what, tonight's in front of us, right? We've got tonight, who needs tomorrow, so it's like, we can let's just be together tonight, and maybe things will change. Maybe things will be different in the morning. If not, we still have tonight. So yeah, it's a haunting song. It's just, it's great. It's got the crescendos. It's got the big build up parts in the middle. And then it goes back to the tenderness and just that piano in the beginning, and, Seeger knew how to deliver it, knew when to amp it up. And then, I love that. I love when artists, kind of like Hurts So Bad, where it's kind of starts at one, we go big, but then we can dial it back again and bring it back to the level it was at before, and We've Got Tonight does that as well too. So Mr. Bob Seeger, so friend of Glenn Fry, right? Came up with the title for Heartache Tonight on the long run. So, all right, that's all we've got. So now it's up to you, the listener, to go ahead, hit us up. You've heard it on before where you can find us, but give us your list. We will add it to this crowdsourced playlist, and you can check it out and say, hey, listen, I was a part of that show, which we would be more than happy to have you and more than happy to accommodate you and add it to the list. So Reeya Banerjee, her album is coming out in August. It's called This Place. Her final single, Rust, is out now. So you can go check that out. We'll put links in the show notes so you can find her. And maybe she's got some sad songs that she didn't want to put, and like a little nepotism. She didn't want to put her own songs in.
My sad songs on this list, so I held back.
It could have been like, hey, here's this song that I wrote, and here's another one, but which would have probably been just as valid. But you can go ahead and explore Reeya's discography on your own also. So we'll have all the pertinent links there to check her stuff out.
Record, somebody, maybe in the future, if you do another top 5 sad song with somebody else, maybe they'll pick one of mine.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. I think we've only done one sequel episode, right, to the top 5 alternative hits of the 90s. That was the only one we ever did a part 2. Yeah, you never know. We may revisit it again. But Reeya, thank you so much for joining us. How was it? You made it through?
Yeah, it's great. I might sit down now and listen to all these songs and feel sad, but in a good way. It's the good sad.
It was a pleasure.
Headphones on.
What do you think, Dean? Should we have her on again?
I think she wants to. If she wants to come back,
I will come back anytime you guys. Anytime you guys let me.
Maybe we can talk about a film next time.
Film or Beatles. We haven't done all the Beatles catalog, so there's always Beatles left on the bone. There's U2. We haven't done Joshua Tree, so the open door policy for you, Reeya. So the door is always open. You let us know.
Absolutely. So time. Yep.
Reeya Banerjee, thank you so much for joining us. A pleasure as always. It's great to have you in a hangout episode because I love it. And top 5s are always fun because we get to see a little bit. We kind of scratch the surface and kind of see what makes each one of us tick when it comes time to look at these things. And I think these are a fun exercise to kind of see that and see where people are coming from. So. We're gonna put all these into the playlist and send it out into the ether, and everybody can enjoy it. So that's gonna do it for this episode. New episodes come out every single Thursday, so you could do that. Make sure on your favorite podcast provider you follow us. This way, you don't have to worry about when they come out. You'll just be notified. I don't have to tap you on the shoulder. I don't have to make calls, emails. Carrier pigeons. I can get rid of all that because I'm running out of pigeons because they fly out and then they don't come back with the message. So it's easier if you just follow us.
I couldn't said it better myself. There you go.
That's it. That's what's called a call to action.
Yeah.
Hit the follow button. And it's all taken care of. And that's going to do it for this episode. So for Reeya, for Eric, this has been Dean, and we will most certainly catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 podcast and on Twitter at 3324p to join the conversation.